Mr. Rawson, I see you have entered the room. We had the pleasure of the last couple of meetings having the preacher from over on Baker Road, Mr. Norman, came up and he led us in prayer, attending, and one of us usually do it, but if somebody from the audience is one of our preachers, I always like to recognize them and bring them up, and I'm sure the council will appreciate it. So if that's ready, we'll give us 1 minute. Heather, you ready? Everything? Y'all all ready? Okay, the time is 7:14. I call the regular meeting of the Satsuma City Council to order. First thing I want to do is apologize for us being 14 minutes late starting the meeting tonight. We had a public hearing that went a little over, so we wasn't anticipating that happening, so I apologize for those that were tuned in and waiting on us to bring the meeting to live. So with that being said, most people know our regular order of business here at Satsuma has been the same for quite some time. We call to order. Then we have an invocation, which we'll usually led by one of us, but we have the pleasure of having the preacher of the First Baptist Church here tonight, so we're going to ask Brother Brent Rawson to lead us. So if you would stand, make sure you remove your hats or anything, and then remain standing for the pledge with the flag right here behind me.
Let's pray. Father God, we thank you for the opportunity to be together tonight. God, I thank you for this city. I'm so thankful. I feel very fortunate to live here, and I'm so thankful for its leadership. I pray for our first responders, our police, our fire, paramedics. God, I pray that you'll just keep your hand upon them. I pray that you'll guide our city council and mayor, that you'll continue to just keep your hand upon them and give them the wisdom they need to make the decisions that they need to make. God, we love you. It's in your son's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Once again, I'd like to thank Brett for showing up here tonight and leading us in a word of prayer. Thanks again. All right, moving on the agenda. Ms. Heather, would you give us a roll call, please?
Councilmember Little.
Present.
Councilmember Butler.
Present.
Councilmember Skelton.
Here.
Councilmember Reese.
Present.
Councilmember Phillips.
Here.
Mayor Barlow.
Here, please let the record reflect all here, including the city clerk, the attorney, and the department heads. Moving on to number 4 is approval of the agenda. And I think that Councilmember Reese was wanting to make an addition to that. You'd said in the
Yes,
pre-council, if you would state that.
The addition would be to apply for a recycled tire grant through ADM for surfacing of the dog park. And it would be for a total of $71,000. It's a 100% grant. There is no match. And I feel like we would be successful in getting this grant because they told me that they had never awarded Satsuma this particular grant, and they have not yet used it on a dog park. And for those reasons, they feel like we would get the grant. So I'd like to give it a try.
Okay, there was no opposition to the add-on. It's just for us to fill out a grant application. So with that being said, the agenda is posted. I think all of you received it in the email. Is there any other additions or corrections that we need to make?
Mayor, we had a motion. We just need a second.
Second.
Who made the motion? Allison? Okay, I heard completing. Motion made by Ms. Reese, seconded by Mr. Little to add, which would be item E on items for discussion and consideration. So all those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. Moving on, number 5 is the approval of the minutes from our last regular meeting on August the 17th, 2021.
So moved. Second.
Motion made by Mr. Skelton, seconded by Mr. Little to approve the minutes as distributed. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Approved. Okay. Ms. Davis, I don't think we have anything listed on recognitions for number 6 tonight. Do we have? All right.
On number 7.
Yes.
Well, I'll be right before the meeting, but this lady called and is unable to attend tonight due to a spouse being sick.
Okay, so that's on number 7 on visitors. That's where we was talking. All right, on our agenda, we had Miss Calvin from Bond Drive. She has been wanting to speak to us, I think, regarding a ditch that's in front of our house. Most of you are aware of some of the drainage issues that we have every time we have these downpours or getting hurricane season in that area. I was hoping she could be here. Perhaps she can make it in the upcoming meeting, but I do think that the Public Works employees have made a lot of progress on ditch cleaning. Not to say that we don't need to purchase some more equipment for bigger stuff, or that we don't need to continue on that, but in these downpours we've had, including the hurricane, while I was out, I felt the ditches and the work we've done helped keep the water out of any of the houses. I just, like I said, hopefully we can continue to address that, but those areas of Vaughn's up there, that's going to be quite a project if we ever undertake that, to drain some of those, because those ditches have been filled in and some of them have been covered, and but we are working on it. So, but anyway, perhaps Ms. Calvin can make a meeting in the future. Okay, we'll open the floor up tonight. Is anyone else that would like to come before the council? If so, just please state your name and address and tell us what you have in mind, and come on up. Once again.
If I knew I was going to do an invocation, I would have dressed better. So. But I track practice when I came over here. My name is Brett Rawson, 311 Magnolia Avenue, Unit 21. This is my friend Lance.
Lance Johnson, 751 Dolphin Drive.
We just wanted to, first I wanted to ask permission to do the reindeer run again this year. We do it every year. This year would be December 11th. And we host that at Baldwin. The church hosts that, and we do that at Baldwin Square. I meant to mention that to you the other night, Chief. Sorry. But we would like to do that again this year. It's a big event. We bring in, I think we had 160 something runners last year. We had a big crowd last year, and so we'd like to do it again. I'm not sure exactly what we do when I ask if we can do this, and I've only been asking about 6 years. So, but we would like to do that again on December 11th at Baldwin Square. So, I think it's
Sounds great.
December 11th. Yeah. Yeah, December 11th is the correct date. Is that good? What do I need to do? Okay, all right. We have another, this is my friend Lance, and Lance is a runner. We have a pretty large running community here in Satsuma. If you go outside and look, probably now there's still people out there running. If you're any familiar with me, I do a lot with the running community here. Lance, he has a special thing that he does at 5Ks, and he pushes this young lady in a wheelchair. She can't run, she can walk, but she can't run. Her name is Julia. Now, she lives in Saraland. But will you tell just a little bit about her disability?
So Julia has a list, just of everything that you can think of, she pretty much has. Severe scoliosis, 2 rods in her back. Her feet have been operated on about 8 times for tumors. Still has tumors in those. Autistic. Marie Charcot's, her hips dysplasia. And so she can get around, but basically the length of this room, and then it's just unbearable. So she's been brought into the running community a couple years back, and it's been kind of her getaway from the realities of it's just harsh on kids that have disabilities, and the community is just real positive and empowering on her. And so we paired up about 2 years ago, and before she's just been kind of confined to whatever people will put on the books for her. And we've been trying to make some of her bigger dreams actually become a reality. Earlier this year, she came to me and said she wanted to do a marathon. And the furthest we've gone so far is a half marathon, but she didn't want to do just any marathon. She wanted to earn her own Boston Marathon medal. And they actually went virtual this year on some of their runners. So we signed up, and we would like to do it here in the city. We would set it up on a loop format, and Brent actually went and ran yesterday and found us a route to where people can get involved, and they can do some or they can do all. But we're just trying to make it a reality for her, and involve our community. That way she can see all the sites here. She can see how everyone just kind of chips in around here. And so we just thought it'd be really nice for her to see this side. She's done Reindeer Run with me, but I just thought it'd be nice to bring her into this. And Brent's really been a blessing and a help, trying to help me collaborate and make something a reality with this.
So what we want to do is October 10th is a Sunday morning. We would like to, I mapped out a course. It's a 13.1 mile loop. We're going to do it twice. We're going to start at 6 in the morning. It's going to be real early. It's a Sunday. We're not asking to close the roads. We're not asking for anything like that. We just wanted you to be aware that we were going to do this. We're taking it in our own hands. I mean, we know the risk to running. We know that. I did talk to the chief about possibly if we could hire a police officer to maybe be a part of it. I have had one that has volunteered to do that. Just to kind of lead with it, just to make it a little more special, make it bigger for Julia and anybody that wants to jump in. We're going to invite people to come and be a part. They can run a mile. I will say the Satsuma High School cross-country team will be running 6 miles. That's going to be their run for the weekend. But we're just trying to make it something special for this young lady. The medals actually help her in her autism. She can, when she gets jumpy or anything, like, she can remember the race that she was in. Isn't that correct? She remembers those things.
So her mom said that she used to sleep with a weighted blanket, but now she actually takes medals and picks them out, and she wears them to sleep. Or if she has a bad day at school or a bad day period, she actually carries some to remember what people went through to earn those. And people donate medals to her from all over the country. So it would be unique for her to actually win this, because or not win, but participate in this, because going to Boston for her would be a far shot to actually physically get there, let alone do it. So we're trying to bring it to her.
So it's going to be the Boston via Satsuma. That's what we're calling it.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to come to see and let y'all know this is what we're going to be doing that morning, and so you wouldn't be surprised about it. Really, it's really more anything. Just out of just kind of a courtesy. If there's a bunch of people running around, we wanted you guys to know before I even said anything to the running community or anything like that. So.
Are you going to have the course posted so we can kind of
I do.
sit along the race course and cheer? Is this for me? Okay.
I got 10. So
Awesome.
if you want that, you can have it.
So that you're going to start and
It starts
end
at
at the
the
same
church.
place?
It actually, miraculously, yesterday when I ran it, there's a crossing right there in front of the student center of the old church building.
Right.
I started there, and somehow, I cannot tell you how, I couldn't ever do it again. To that sign, start and finish is 13.1 miles. I could never do it again, I'm telling you.
Start at 6 in the morning.
We're going to start at 6, we're going to finish up, we think we should be finished 10, something like that. So,
Okay, great.
That's kind of our thing.
Yeah.
So we just want to make you aware, so if that's cool. I didn't want to do something where I was announcing stuff without you guys knowing, first, so.
No, the only things that I would say is that if we're going to have 160, 200 runners, that we make sure that we have the police department so we can, respond in case there's any traffic issues or anything, and also perhaps make sure we got adequate personnel on
Sure.
in the fire department and to cover that.
If it looks
And,
like it's getting legs, I'll communicate that well. So, right now it's the two of us and
Right.
6 runners for 6 miles. So,
yeah, that's really good, and
but I think it's going to be a neat thing. I think it'd be neat for the city too. So,
That'd be awesome.
yeah, be
Yeah.
fun.
And-
I'm gonna leave these here if y'all would like to see the course. You want one, Randy? And then and it's a turn-by-turn deal. So there you go. So I'll leave them if y'all want. Thank y'all.
What's her name?
Julia Charles.
Julia, Julia.
Yeah. And
For like signs or something. I don't
Yeah,
know.
and-
Okay.
she just, since she's got in the running community, it's gotten her out of her shell. And that's just really where she excels. If she's having a bad week and we go for a run, it brings her back. And so when she came to me and told me this, it was like, okay, this is a no-brainer.
Okay,
So,
well, good. Thanks.
Thank you, guys. We appreciate
you.
you. So,
Appreciate it.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, does anyone else like to come before the council tonight? Sir, please come on up.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm David Gerald, 5270 Joe Janelle Drive East. I have a question and I have a comment. The question is, what is the status of the pay-as-you-go road paving projects that were announced last year? Including, there were 4 or 5 streets in Satsuma, I think they were on that list, and 2 of them were Joe Janelle Drive East and Avondale, which I drive every day, multiple times, and so we're all excited when that was announced, but y'all have any idea when that is going to happen?
Crystal, have you spoke with them on the pay-as-you-go recently? I know several months ago we talked with them, and
Yeah, that was the last time Jamie and I talked to her. We have not given them that.
They were supposed to have been starting when we spoke to them months ago, within the next few months, and we haven't heard anything since.
the roads are still planned to be paved, I know that, although I can't give you an anticipated start date. We're talking tonight in our regular meeting about rescheduling a meeting with the engineering department at the county, so we could possibly find something out for you.
Okay.
And I can have Crystal to give you a call back if they have an anticipated start date at this point.
That's great. Yeah, I'm just curious because we watched them end it at Audubon a few years ago, and we thought we were next.
We don't always understand where they, we don't have we select some of the streets and then they go with how much money they have, I think, and
Yeah. Okay.
so, but they are still scheduled.
Okay.
So hopefully we can give you an answer for that.
Great. The comment I have is that I've seen in the last couple of months, there was talk about, four-wheelers and golf carts and things back and forth in Vaughn's and Gilbert Creek and behind Gilbert Creek, but I just want to mention that it is a problem on the south side of Satsuma too. We see four-wheelers, go-karts, golf carts almost every day going back and forth on city streets. And I've got a teenager that drives now, as of the last few months, and so I'm worried that he's out there with these things too. So I would just ask the council to do whatever you need to do to empower law enforcement to be able to enforce and give them the authority to pass an ordinance, issue citation, whatever you got to do to kind of curb this and kind of discourage that in the future.
I think the ordinance is already in place. It's just enforcing it.
Okay, well, we still see it, so I just hope
It's
that,
throughout the city, yes. No.
yeah. Because I know a few months ago, there was a little girl that got hurt off a golf cart, but I just hope it's not going to be worse before, people start to think about that a different way.
I'm pretty concerned about them not having seat belts.
Or helmets.
I've passed adults riding, holding an infant.
Yeah.
And a 3-year-old be beside them with no
Yeah.
security, in which you can't do that in an automobile, but they do it in the golf cart.
Well, the go-kart was what got me the other day.
Yeah.
That's
I
way
had
down
seen
here.
one
You're not
there.
going to be looking down there when you're driving a pickup truck and,
Did they have a flag on it?
no,
Nothing.
no.
We have dirt bikes on our road with no headlights, and they ride at night fast.
So I would just ask that be a, hot button issue that, the city keeps that as a focus, deterring that somehow, because it's just a matter of time before it gets worse, Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you for your comments, sir. And I agree with what you're saying also, so. Okay, before we go into regular order business, one last call. Anybody want to come up? We have some of our regulars that are here at all our meetings, I see, and then we have a couple of visitors, and we have one of our former colleagues out there, Mr. Black. Nice to see you here in attendance with us tonight. All right, if there's nothing else, then I'll go into the mayor's report, and I've covered most of this in our pre-council meeting, so we should be able to go through this pretty quickly. We received another franchise agreement from MediaCom. I forwarded that to Jay for him to look over. And we'll try to come back in the next meeting and see if there's any action is required or anything, so. Also, there was a grant received from the city for law enforcement equipment from the state of Alabama in the amount of $16,000, I think it was $360. So we're very thankful for that. Along the lines, I think Brent and Lance just left, but along what they're saying, the sidewalks, most of you know that we see those, the people are out there from early in the morning to late in the evening. They are certainly used. So we did receive the grant that we applied for in the amount of a little over $184,000 from the state of Alabama. So I'm very thankful for that. Hopefully we can pass that along to the governor's office, who we received that grant for, and when we put our money with it, hopefully we can expand these sidewalks and keep them going, because they are certainly used, and I think it makes it so much safer in the neighborhoods for the people to be able to walk off the road and run and jog. One of our topics of discussion that we've all had for the last several months has been getting us a bucket truck, something we can work on some of the lights we have, hang banners, do our Christmas ornaments, some of those type activities, among numerous other things, trimming some of the limbs and all the low-lying stuff that we get complaints on the buses and the trucks and the RVs, boats and all that hit them. It gives us the opportunity to trim that. So I wanted to thank Mr. Skelton. He's been working on that project for 2 or 3 months, and we got that. So Jason, I do appreciate that, and I think I'm speaking for all of us. So that'll be a very well used piece of equipment that I think will benefit us for a long time. So we do appreciate that once again. Building inspector list. I get tired of bringing this up every time we meet and telling y'all we are still having difficulty recruiting a building inspector. We're going to extend this, or I'm going to ask if y'all agree that we extend this list for another week and just see if anybody posts. If not, at one of our workshops, I don't want to bow down anything major until we get our budget passed, but we may need to address this in the budget to see, because from what we're paying and what some of the other cities are paying, we're not attracting good applicants that I feel like we need, and with some of the growth and all that I feel like we have just around the corner, I would like to have us a good person in place, and Mr. Brian has helped us out of a bind, so I'm sure he don't want to do it all the time. We received a list from the Personnel Board regarding the Assistant City Clerk position. Heather had provided me a list of the names. I think y'all got the list down there. I don't know if any of the others y'all wanted to look at it or not to see who they are, but the interview process will be started pretty quick with this, so it's up here if any of you want to see the names. Last Wednesday morning, we had the Sharpsy meeting regarding the street projects and all. Most of the projects obviously affect all of the county, but specifically things related to Satsuma. The CRISA money is still coming for our repaving and resurfacing projects. It's just going a little slower than we had hoped for. The committee did vote and approve the work to be done at the intersection in front of the pilot there, where the Chevron and all the complaints that we so often have about that intersection. So hopefully we can do some real major repair instead of just these minor pothole repairs, which we've done over and over for quite some time now. The hurricane last week caused us to have to cancel the meeting that we had set up for Steel Creek Lodge regarding our water sewer project on the west side of I-65, where we're going to bore the interstate there at the end of Woodland. We are trying to work with the county, who really are holding the meeting. We're just kind of hosting the meeting for them here. But you look at your calendars, and I'm going to recommend them try to look for a Monday before the end of the month, if that's okay with the council. I will let y'all know if any action takes place before the next council meeting. I think we got another football game, a home game here this week, so hopefully y'all can make it up for Alberta coming to town, I think, Friday night. There was a Goodwin Mills Kaywood contract name change, which we discussed in pre-council, so that's been signed and taken care of. Jason, on the budget tonight, I was just going to ask if and when we might want to set up a workshop date, or do you want to take care of that when it comes to you?
Yeah, we can.
Maybe with the bills, so whatever night I should be free, so it's good for me. I'm working and doing the dispatching with the Creola Police Department, I understand is going very well. I've gotten some good reports on that. I think it's good that we can share that cost. Hopefully that will continue to work well, and we can see, any ways we can share costs with any of our adjoining cities. I feel like it's a good idea and way to move forward. Whether that be working with them or some of the training I think I seen listed on the fire department's work schedule this month with Saraland coming up. Is that correct, Chief? So anyway, that was I think that's going to be very beneficial. I wanted to state that. In our pre-council, we also discussed these piles, these huge trash piles of debris that's being put out by some people who are either doing land clearing or some type of demolition work or hiring out people. But some of these piles of trash are far exceeding what the limit is that we should be picking up. So I am going to ask that some of the people try not to put those type piles out. If you're going to hire somebody, make sure that they include taking the debris instead of leaving it for us to pick up, because some of these piles just get us so far behind, and we've kind of been running a man short in that department anyway. So I've asked Tom and for Charlie Zebak both to work on this, trying to identify some of the people who seem to constantly have piles of debris out. We were very fortunate in the hurricane. There was a few complaints with the ditches, but as I said earlier, I feel like some of the work we've done, and not just us, but in the past few years has been done, really helped the drainage. If anybody was out in the middle of the night when we had some of those hard downpours, you would see that I think they were working and doing as we've intended them to do. I'm very sorry for the damage that our neighbors in Saraland had, and also in Creola. We were very fortunate. The only real damage we had over around the wastewater treatment plant, where it looks like it touched down and went across, went out through the woods, tore down some pretty big trees, but there was no structural damage to anything, so we were very fortunate there. But with that being said, that concludes basically all the things that I had on my agenda that's not listed for under one of the council positions. So, Mr. Little on Public Services.
Thanks, Mayor, for mentioning that about the trash. We've got a good thing that we offer there, and we just want everybody to be able to, take part in that. If you have some trash to put out, we want to get to it as best we can, but please limit it to, I think it's 2 cubic yards. Also, I want to go over real quick the report for the seniors. I was down there this morning. We are kind of maintaining, around 13, 14 people, every Tuesday and Thursday. And we delivered 861 meals this past month. And we still have a waiting list, to get into this program. So that's a lot. But to have a waiting list, I'd love to be able to accommodate, everybody that's in need there also. We made 30 different appointments with our transportation. Have 2 new riders there, so we're doing all we can, and we're glad to be able to do it. Also, we're looking into maybe getting another quote on our roll-off and our dumpster fees. Hopefully, we might can come in a little under what we're paying now and help us in that area. The roll-off and dumpster fees are very high, and we do a lot of that, and it's constantly. So we're looking into that to try to do the best we can, so we can serve everybody better in that aspect also. That being said, Mayor, I think that's all.
Okay, that's good. And like you said, the amount of meals that we're serving is really good and impressive. And also, I'm glad to see that we're back doing the transporting of the people that's needing that. So if anybody has seniors that are in need of some type of transportation to a medical facility or something, if they will give us a call and give us a little bit of a notice so we can schedule a time, we will certainly try to accommodate that and help out, because there are people that just don't have transportation. So like I said, I'm glad to see that kind of coming back to life after the COVID and all. Thank you, Mr.
I had a question. What's necessary to get people off a waiting list? Because it seems like we wouldn't want a waiting list for those that need food.
Well,
Is it-
it goes through regional planning, and they give us a number that they approve for every city. And
Okay,
we're taking the maximum amount they allow for us right now.
I understand. Okay,
We've requested to increase the number.
okay.
It hasn't.
I didn't know
so
if
far.
you needed like extra people like to donate food, or I understand. Okay, thank you.
Okay, if that concludes Mr. Little, we'll move to public safety with Mr. Butler. Mr. Butler?
The report for the fire department, this is for the calls of August the 1st until September the 7th. We got 77 calls for the EMS, 25 calls for the fire, and for a total calls of 102. So we got mutual aid, we got 5 calls for that. And that's about what I have, Mayor.
Good. Okay, thank you, Mr. Butler. Moving on, Mr. Skelton.
Yes, sir. And somehow, some way, I have failed to mention that Heather Davis has achieved the certified municipal clerk designation by completing the 3-year course at the University of Alabama. And she obtained that on August the 4th of this year. And I have failed to mention that to everyone, so I apologize for that. And congratulations, Heather.
Congratulations.
So as mentioned earlier, Heather and I have been working on the budget. We've got everything compiled, so we need to plan a date we can sit down and discuss and arm wrestle or do whatever we need to do. And I think if everybody is good, maybe we can look at next Thursday, maybe 5:30.
That's good with me.
That's good with me.
Be September 16th,
What time?
5:30.
Okay.
Okay, if that's the wishes of the council and that fits everybody's schedule, we'll set a public,
Give me that date again.
September 16th.
16?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
we'll set a council workshop for Thursday night here at City Hall on September 16th at 5:30 PM to discuss the budget for the upcoming fiscal year.
That's all I
Everybody in
have.
agreement with that? Okay, thank you, Jason. Moving on, Ms. Reese.
I just wanted to let you know that the September municipal dinner is canceled due to COVID concerns, and obviously a workshop just jumped in that date, so. Also, the league's leadership conference is going to be November 1st through the 3rd in Montgomery. And registration started today, so I would be interested in attending that. I don't know if we need to decide on budget or how that works at a next meeting, or if anybody else is interested in going. I guess tell Heather, maybe.
It's November the 1st through the 3rd.
Yes, sir.
It's Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I wouldn't be able to go on a Tuesday because that'd be on a council meeting night. I would like to look at that. I think there were actually a couple of us, didn't it, received emails on the attending the courses.
I received one.
I think it's open to everybody. On the 3rd is the day of the graduation for the CMO program. I'm excited about the bucket truck because hopefully this year we'll get to see the seasonal banners. And I've put the request in, and I know everybody's on board to get those hung up, and it'll be a nice surprise for the city and the citizens. So hopefully we'll see those soon. Also, there's going to be a tournament at Wright Park on September 4th, so I've spoken with Crystal about arranging for a couple extra portalettes and garbage cans for that date. The 9/11 exhibit is now going on at the library. This is, as you all know, the 20th anniversary of the horrendous event, and it's a poster event exhibit that'll be at the library, so you can check that out. I also requested at the pre-council meeting that all of open meetings be live streamed. So I think moving forward, workshops and pre-council will be available for everyone to join in with us. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Moving on, Mr. Phillips with Public Works.
Mayor, of course, the Public Works Department's made strides in the last few weeks with the storm coming through. It kind of set us back a little bit, but we were able to move a lot of the storm debris from the ditches and all that's plugging up the items. Like I say, we're kind of fortunate. I'm not aware of any homes that were flooded during the rain. So I think they worked pretty good. You know, we trimmed limbs through on Oak Street and Dale on 4th Street. We were able to clean the ditches out on Scanaway and U Street and spraying the ditches when the weather allowed to do that. And of course, we done mowing and weed eating and filled a lot of potholes. And again, just, you know, a thank you to Crystal and Public Works for the job they're doing.
Yeah, good.
That's all I got, unless y'all want to buy a track hoe tonight.
But the council meeting is moving quick. Let's keep it going on. Moving on now to items for discussion and/or consideration. Number 9. Number A, listed payment of the bills.
I make a motion to pay the bills in the amount of $36,416.41.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Skelton, seconded by Mr. Phillips to pay our bills in the set amount. Is there any discussion or questions? If none, all those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
And those opposed. Moving to B, consideration of resignation of Courtney Wilson as a full-time dispatcher effective August the 9th, 2021.
I got a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, made motion by Mr. Butler and seconded by Ms. Reese. My only question is, why, if it was effective the 9th, why didn't we do it a month ago or when it was given?
It took some time for her to get her resignation letter to us for the personnel, and we just got that, just to make it a formality for them to have on record.
I was just, curious, like I said, why it took so long. It was,
Because she had some family issues and.
so we just received it? Okay, that's okay.
She had a daughter who had some medical problems in North Alabama, so she was not in town and just had difficulty actually getting the physical letter delivered to us.
Okay, well, that answers that. No further discussion. Motion made to accept the resignation in good standing. All those in favor signify by aye. Those opposed? Going on to C, consideration of hiring Stephanie Malone as a part-time dispatcher, effective September 17th, 2021.
I make a motion we approve.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Butler and seconded by Mr. Skelton to hire the dispatcher, Stephanie Malone, on that date. All those in favor, well, first, is any discussion or questions? I guess that will just be the one filling the position that was vacated we just had, so.
That's actually filling Mr. Bradford's position.
Okay. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
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 Those opposed. Consideration of calling for a list for 2 full-time police officers from Mobile County Personnel Board. D.
I make a motion.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Butler to call for the list for a police officer for 2 positions to be filled, and it was seconded by Ms. Reese. Any questions or discussions?
Didn't we just call for some? Are we still down?
We still have 3 vacancies, and we just got another resignation letter today, so that actually puts us at 4 vacancies in the next couple of weeks.
That's what it was. I just hate, it seems like this is almost every meeting, and I just wished we could figure out a way to, I don't know.
Well, the one today, I'm kind of proud to say, he was appointed as the police chief in Mount Vernon.
Okay.
So we have good quality people who are advancing their careers, and I do not fault them at all for it.
I agree on those terms.
Motion made by Mr. Butler, I think it was seconded by Ms. Reese, to call for the list. Any further discussion? If none, all those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. We have an add-on at the request of Ms. Reese to have our grant coordinator or our grant person to fill out an application for an ADM grant. If you'd like to speak further about that, Ms. Reese, you can. That would be item E, an add-on.
She's actually already prepared the information, and it's just awaiting your signature. And I believe she sent that in an email today. So, Heather, are you able to print that out? Do you prefer a printed copy, I guess, Mayor?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll get you a printed copy. And again, it's $71,000, 0 match. It's all 100% grant. And costs us nothing to apply. It would be for the Bark Park, and it's the ADM scrap tire program. I've actually seen this program in Cheehaw when we went to visit. They have a playground up there, and it's got ADM grant recipient, and so it's actually the playground mulch in pieces, but for this particular application, it would be one cohesive piece. So, fingers crossed. Make that in the form of a motion.
Motion made by Ms. Reese to apply for a grant through ADM for the item she said for the Bark Park. This is a 0 match, so if we get the grant, it would just be a grant to supply the material needed that she's discussed a couple of times previous. Is there any
It's labor and material, so it's the whole thing, start to finish. The company that provided the quote would do the whole thing.
do the installation too? Good.
Yes, sir.
Mayor, that's what I wanted a little clarification. Who come up with that figure? Did you?
Tom had to get he had to get quotes, and so it was from one of the quotes.
So $71,000 is what they
For
quoted
this,
to,
it's this, square footage, and so
Yeah.
that's the size of the bark park.
To-
Basic, oh,
to put that on the ground, right?
yes, sir.
Use rubber tires. Shredded.
But if we get the grant, it's at no cost to us.
Yeah.
Well, I understand that, but I'm just, yeah, I was just wondering, but if that's what it costs, I guess that's what it costs. But my next question was, if we got the grant, I was wondering if we could use the money in another area there. I didn't realize it was gonna cost 71,000 just to put down the,
Well, the money would just go directly to cover the cost of the materials and the labor to pour that. So, like, if you imagine like a running track, if you will.
oh, yeah.
Like a one cohesive piece. So that's from recycled tires, and the surface has the ability to be sanitized, and it won't wear out like grass would,
Sure.
And it's they have not used this at a dog park. So for that reason, and for us never having received this particular grant, they feel our chances are good for receiving this. So
Okay, that's all.
I hope we get it. Yeah.
Carry on. Ooh,
I don't think we called it to a vote yet, have we?
We were stumped over here.
Motion was made by Ms. Reese and seconded by Mr. Butler on the matter, I think. So, if no further discussion, all those in favor signify by aye.
aye.
Those opposed. Good luck on your grant.
Thank you.
Moving on, number 10, ordinance 539, an ordinance authorizing the issuance of a $350,000 City of Satsuma, Alabama general obligation warrant 2021.
Make a motion to introduce ordinance 539 regarding said obligation warrant, and this would cover the most recent garbage truck. And the actual purchase price of the truck was $324,429. This is something that we have to do immediately.
The warrant has to be
Thank you,
done
sir.
in order for them to send the money.
Okay.
So you have to put it up.
Couple times.
All right, so I make a motion, we suspend the rules and put up for immediate adoption ordinance 539.
Second.
First of all, if we suspend the rules, we got to call for a roll call vote, I think, in order to do that, and then go back and pass it. So your first motion is to
Suspend the rules.
suspend the rules and put this up for immediate adoption
Yes, sir.
tonight.
That's
said
correct.
ordinance. Okay, and
Second.
motion made by Mr. Skelton, seconded by Mr. Little on ordinance 539 to be put up for immediate adoption tonight. This is a general obligation warrant for the purchase of the new garbage truck that we got in a couple of weeks ago. Call a roll call vote to suspend the rules.
Councilmember Little,
Yes.
Councilmember Butler,
Yes.
Councilmember Skelton,
Yes.
Councilmember Reese,
Yes.
Councilmember Phillips.
Yes.
Mayor Barlow.
Yes. Now you want to put,
Yeah, I'd like to adopt ordinance 539 regarding the general obligation warrant for 2021.
Second.
motion made by Mr. Skelton to put the said ordinance up for immediate adoption tonight. The motion was seconded by Ms. Reese. Any further discussion? I think we all are aware of what the terms we discussed in the last couple of meetings are. If there's no further questions or discussions, all those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. Okay, it passed. D, Resolution 2021-09-01, resolution to adopt rules and regulations of Satsuma Dog Park. Can we just introduce this one tonight?
Yes, sir. And it's in your packet. There's a front and back. These are the rules that will be posted outside of the Bark Park, so people know what to do. And these are rules that have been approved by Jay and his team. So,
They're also very similar to other dog park rules that
Absolutely.
Allison,
Yes.
handpick the good rules.
Good rules.
Well,
Do we do anything with that? Or just introduce it?
I would introduce it and then at the next meeting,
Okay.
that way everybody has time to read it, then make a motion to approve.
Okay.
so Councilmember Reese is just putting the said resolution up tonight for review. So it'll be put on the agenda for the following council meeting. We've addressed all the people that came before the council tonight, and we've covered our agenda items. Is there anything else that any of you know of that we need to discuss before going into number 11, which is going to be an executive session? Because we usually come back and adjourn when that's over, so if there is nothing else,
We need to make a motion for the executive session and for about,
Right.
I'd say, 10 minutes.
okay. Yeah, I was getting to that. So if any of you would like to stick around for 10 or 15 minutes, we will come back out to adjourn, but the attorney has requested that we go into executive session to discuss a legal matter. So we will have to retire to the back here with him. So the time is 8:05. He's asked for 10 minutes. He goes long every single time, so we will see y'all back in about 15 minutes, or hopefully no more. So,
I'll make a motion that we do that.
I'll second.
motion made by Mr. Little, seconded by Mr. Skelton, and we go into executive session. All those in favor,
Use the
signify
roll
by.
call as well, isn't it?
A roll call to go into executive session.
Councilmember Little,
Yes.
Councilmember Butler,
Yes.
Councilmember Skelton,
Yes.
Councilmember Reese.
Yes.
Councilmember Phillips,
Yes.
Mayor Barlow.
Yes. Excuse us, please, for a moment. Okay, the time is 8:22, so I think we were in executive session just a couple minutes longer than we'd anticipated being, but that wasn't too bad. So there's no other business listed on the agenda, and there's nobody brought anything else up. So with that being said, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to adjourn. All in favor? We are adjourned.
Aye.
Thank you. Thank y'all. We'll see y'all for sure. 3 of y'all